Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, let me ask you something powerful. Do you really need someone beside you to feel complete? Or have you forgotten the person already standing within you? Today, we explore a title that sounds funny but carries a deep truth: a man without a girlfriend. Many people perceive singleness as a void, a missing piece in the puzzle of life, and especially in a man's journey. Society constantly bombards us with images and messages suggesting that being in a relationship is synonymous with success, happiness, or personal validation. The reality, however, is profoundly different. Being a man without a girlfriend is not a deficiency. It is a unique period of opportunity that, when approached with awareness and intention, can become one of the most transformative seasons of life. This phase is often misunderstood because it challenges conventional expectations. But those who embrace it fully often discover that it is during this time that the foundation for a truly fulfilling life is built. When a man is single, he is given the extraordinary gift of space. Space to explore his passions without compromise, to engage deeply with his interests, and to invest in his personal development. In a relationship, responsibilities inevitably extend beyond the self, requiring emotional, mental, and sometimes financial bandwidth that can limit the ability to pursue individual goals fully. Without these distractions, a man has the freedom to examine who he is, what he values, and what he wants from life. He can explore his potential without needing validation from another person, and this is the essence of self-mastery. Singleness provides the clarity to understand personal strengths and weaknesses, to refine character, and to cultivate the habits that will define long-term success. Singleness also offers an unparalleled opportunity for introspection. Many men spend their lives in relationships chasing approval or companionship, often losing touch with their authentic selves. During periods of being alone, there is a quiet that allows for reflection, self-discovery, and alignment with purpose. This introspection helps a man distinguish between needs driven by societal pressure and desires that stem from true aspiration. It cultivates independence, resilience, and emotional intelligence, qualities that are not only essential for personal satisfaction, but also lay the groundwork for healthier future relationships. The ability to stand alone, to find fulfillment within oneself, and to embrace one's own company is a mark of maturity and self-respect, something that cannot be rushed or borrowed from another person. Moreover, being single allows for the cultivation of freedom in decision-making. Life often presents crossroads, and without the influence or compromise that a partner might introduce, a man can make choices solely based on his vision and values. This period of autonomy fosters creativity, encourages risk-taking, and builds confidence in one's abilities. When a man learns to navigate life independently, he develops a self-reliance that cannot be taught through convenience or dependence. Every decision made in this season contributes to a stronger sense of identity and purpose, ensuring that when a relationship does eventually enter the picture, it complements a life already rich with intention rather than filling an emptiness. Finally, singleness is a powerful stage for mastering the art of patience and delayed gratification. It challenges men to invest in the long-term development of their lives rather than seeking immediate emotional fulfillment. This practice instills discipline, focus, and an appreciation for the process of growth, which ultimately results in a more sustainable, meaningful sense of accomplishment. The absence of a romantic partner does not indicate failure. It signifies the presence of opportunity, a chance to prepare, to build, and to evolve without distraction or compromise. In essence, being a man without a girlfriend is not a deficit, it is an extraordinary gift. It is a season where potential can be realized, character can be strengthened, and purpose can be defined. Those who embrace this time consciously transform it into a period of profound growth, ensuring that every step taken during singleness contributes to a future that is not only fulfilling in relationships but deeply rewarding in life itself. Time is one of the most underrated treasures a man possesses, yet it is also one of the most fleeting and irreversible. Many men spend their days caught in routines, obligations, or distractions without realizing that every moment is an opportunity for growth, transformation, and preparation for the future. When a man is without a girlfriend, he often encounters comments, judgments, or subtle pressures from society, implying that he is missing out. What he is truly experiencing, however, is the gift of unclaimed time, a chance to invest in himself in ways that are impossible when attention is divided or when energy is committed to managing someone else's emotions and needs. The value of time lies not in its abundance, but in the conscious and deliberate ways it is utilized. And this is the period when a man can harness it fully. Every man has dreams, goals, and ambitions that require focus, persistence, and effort. The truth is that relationships, while beautiful and rewarding, naturally demand emotional labor, compromise, and attention. Without these demands, a single man can dedicate himself entirely to the pursuit of excellence. He can explore new skills, deepen his knowledge, and engage in experiences that expand his perspective. Time, when invested in self-improvement, compounds in ways that material possessions or temporary pleasures cannot. Learning, exercising, reading, traveling, or building a professional path are all endeavors that thrive when a man has the freedom to prioritize himself. Every hour spent intentionally during this season is an investment in a future self who is stronger, wiser, and more prepared for whatever life brings. Moreover, time in solitude cultivates discipline and structure, both of which are fundamental to personal and professional success. Without the rhythm imposed by a partner or shared responsibilities, a man is forced to create his own schedule, set his own goals, and hold himself accountable. This self-governance is a skill that defines character and leadership. By using time deliberately, a man learns to differentiate between urgent distractions and meaningful priorities. He gains the ability to focus deeply on long-term growth rather than chasing fleeting satisfaction. In essence, time becomes a mirror, reflecting back the intentions, values, and ambitions that shape the trajectory of a man's life. Time also provides the opportunity to cultivate emotional intelligence and inner resilience. Life presents challenges, setbacks, and moments of solitude that test patience and perseverance. When a man has the gift of unallocated time, he can invest in understanding his own mind, processing experiences, and developing coping strategies without the interference of external expectations. He can explore what truly motivates him, what he stands for, and how he wishes to navigate the complexities of life. This process of reflection and self-awareness cannot be hurried or borrowed from another person. It is a unique privilege of being alone and focused. Additionally, investing time wisely during this period creates a ripple effect for future relationships. A man who has dedicated himself to growth, learning, and self-mastery becomes not only more confident, but also more capable of contributing positively to a partnership. Love and companionship thrive when both individuals bring fullness and purpose to the table, rather than seeking to fill voids left unaddressed. By treating time as a sacred resource, a man ensures that when the right relationship enters his life, it complements a life already enriched with experience, discipline, and perspective. Ultimately, time without distraction is an invitation to live intentionally, to shape identity, and to prepare for a future defined not by circumstance, but by choice. Every moment spent purposefully during this season is a step toward becoming a man who is equipped to handle challenges, pursue dreams, and embrace opportunities with clarity and confidence. The value of time is immeasurable, And those who recognize it as their greatest asset transform every day of singleness into a foundation for extraordinary living. Many men make the mistake of believing that external relationships are the key to fulfillment, that love or companionship will somehow complete them or provide the missing piece in their lives. This mindset, however, is fundamentally flawed, because true satisfaction and lasting happiness cannot originate from another person. A man without a girlfriend has a unique opportunity to understand this profound truth. Completeness begins within, and every meaningful connection in life is a reflection of the wholeness one has cultivated internally. Without this inner foundation, relationships often become a search for validation rather than a shared journey of growth and mutual respect. When a man embraces the principle that he is already complete, he transforms not only his own life, but also the quality of any future partnership he may enter. Inner completeness is cultivated through self-awareness, reflection, and intentional living. It requires a man to confront his strengths and weaknesses honestly, to acknowledge his fears and desires, and to take responsibility for his choices and actions. This process is not always comfortable. It demands courage to face the aspects of oneself that are often ignored or denied. Yet it is in these moments of introspection that true character is forged. A man who invests in understanding himself develops resilience, emotional intelligence, and a sense of stability that does not waver based on external circumstances. He learns to derive satisfaction from his own achievements, passions, and values, rather than depending on someone else to provide a sense of worth or purpose. When a man realizes that he is already complete, he no longer approaches relationships from a place of neediness or dependency. He enters interactions with confidence, clarity, and respect, recognizing that a partnership is meant to enhance his life, not define it. This awareness shifts the dynamics of connection entirely. Instead of seeking someone to fill the gaps, he seeks someone to complement and share in the richness of a life that is already meaningful. The difference is subtle but profound. Relationships become spaces of mutual growth and joy, rather than arenas of compromise driven by fear of loneliness or inadequacy. Inner completeness ensures that love is a choice, not a necessity, and that partnership is a celebration of life rather than a remedy for emptiness. The cultivation of inner completeness also influences decision-making and personal standards. A man who understands his own value does not settle for superficial or temporary satisfaction. He develops a clear sense of boundaries, expectations, and priorities, and is empowered to make choices that align with his principles and long-term vision. He is able to recognize relationships that are healthy and supportive, and distinguish them from those that are draining or misaligned with his goals. This discernment protects both his emotional well-being and the quality of the connections he forms, ensuring that when love arrives, it is sustainable, nurturing, and aligned with his authentic self. Additionally, the journey toward inner completeness encourages a man to pursue passions, cultivate skills, and engage in meaningful endeavors. Each achievement, each moment of personal growth reinforces the understanding that fulfillment comes from contribution, purpose, and self-mastery. By the time he enters a relationship, he is not looking to borrow happiness from someone else. He brings his own abundance into the partnership. This abundance becomes a source of inspiration, stability, and energy, allowing love to flourish naturally and without undue pressure or expectation. Ultimately, inner completeness is the foundation upon which all other aspects of life are built. It transforms the way a man approaches challenges, opportunities, and relationships, and it ensures that every connection is authentic, balanced, and enriching. By focusing on becoming whole from within, A man not only enhances his own life, but also creates the conditions for relationships that are truly transformative, sustaining, and joyous. Character is the invisible foundation that shapes every decision, every relationship, and every outcome in a man's life. Many men underestimate the value of strengthening character during the period of singleness, focusing instead on external achievements or the pursuit of companionship. Yet, the development of character is the most critical investment a man can make. For it is character that determines resilience in adversity, integrity in decision-making, and the quality of relationships he will attract in the future. Being without a girlfriend is not a deficit. It is a rare and powerful opportunity to focus deeply on the cultivation of virtues that will define not only personal success, but lasting respect and admiration from others. Strengthening character begins with self-discipline. A man who has the freedom of time without external emotional obligations has the space to set routines, follow through on commitments, and cultivate habits that build long-term success. Self-discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. It is what allows a man to wake up early, exercise consistently, pursue his passions, and prioritize growth over temporary indulgences. Discipline is not a restriction, it is the framework through which potential is transformed into achievement. When a man invests in his own self-discipline, he creates momentum that permeates every area of life, enhancing confidence, focus, and inner stability. Equally important is the cultivation of emotional strength. Life inevitably presents challenges, disappointments, failures, and unexpected twists, and the measure of a man is revealed in how he responds to these moments. Strengthening character means learning to manage emotions constructively, practicing patience, and developing resilience. A man without a girlfriend can use this time to face his inner fears, to understand his triggers, and to grow in empathy and self-awareness. Emotional maturity ensures that when relationships enter his life, he can navigate them with clarity, balance, and a sense of groundedness. Rather than reacting impulsively or seeking validation from others, integrity is another cornerstone of character. A man's word, actions, and choices are reflections of who he truly is. The period of singleness is an ideal time to examine whether his daily actions align with his values. It is easy to drift through life following trends, pleasing others, or avoiding accountability. But true character emerges in moments of honesty, consistency, and ethical decision-making. By committing to integrity, a man earns respect from himself and others, laying the foundation for authentic relationships and meaningful achievements that are not dependent on luck or circumstance. Strengthening character also involves cultivating humility and gratitude. It is the awareness that one is continually learning, growing, and evolving, and that accomplishments and relationships are enhanced by perspective, patience, and appreciation. A man who practices humility does not need external validation to feel worthy. He recognizes his own strengths while acknowledging areas for growth. Gratitude shifts focus from scarcity to abundance, reinforcing a mindset that draws positivity and opportunity. These qualities make a man not only stronger internally, but also more attractive as a partner, friend, and leader, because character naturally radiates through behavior, influence, and presence. Furthermore, character development includes the commitment to purpose. A man without a girlfriend has the freedom to explore his passions, set meaningful goals, and invest in endeavors that align with his values. Purpose fuels perseverance and direction, providing motivation that transcends temporary setbacks. A man who strengthens his character through purpose-driven action becomes self-reliant, resilient, and inspiring, creating a life that others want to be part of, not because of superficial attraction, but because of the integrity, strength, and authenticity he embodies. Ultimately, strengthening character transforms a man from someone who reacts to life into someone who shapes life intentionally. It equips him to handle challenges, relationships, and opportunities with wisdom, confidence, and moral clarity. Every moment spent developing character during singleness compounds into a lifetime of influence, stability, and fulfillment, ensuring that when love or companionship arrives, it enters a life already rich with integrity, strength, and purpose. Patience is often one of the most overlooked yet powerful qualities a man can cultivate, especially during the period of singleness. Society pressures men to seek immediate gratification, to rush into relationships, and to believe that fulfillment depends on the presence of a romantic partner. However, true wisdom lies in understanding that the right relationship does not appear on demand, and the most meaningful connections are rarely the ones that arrive first. Being without a girlfriend is not a sign of failure. It is an opportunity to develop patience, to grow into the kind of man who can attract and sustain a relationship that is truly aligned with his values, purpose, and life goals. The process of waiting is not idle. It is an active preparation that shapes character, clarity, and emotional readiness. Patience allows a man to resist the temptation of settling for temporary or superficial connections. Many individuals enter relationships too early, driven by loneliness, societal expectation, or the desire for immediate companionship. These connections often lack depth, stability, and compatibility, and they can lead to dissatisfaction or even heartbreak. A man who cultivates patience understands that the quality of a relationship is far more important than its timing. He recognizes that waiting is not wasted time, but an essential phase in ensuring that when a partner does enter his life, the relationship is based on mutual understanding, respect, and shared vision. Patience is the filter that separates impulsive choices from meaningful decisions. Developing patience also nurtures emotional resilience. Life is unpredictable, and the timing of events, including relationships, rarely aligns perfectly with one's expectations. A man without a girlfriend can use this period to strengthen his ability to cope with uncertainty, delays, and setbacks without frustration or despair. By practicing patience, he learns to remain grounded, to focus on personal growth, and to maintain a sense of fulfillment independent of external circumstances. Emotional resilience built during this time becomes a critical asset in future relationships, allowing a man to navigate challenges with calm, empathy, and composure rather than reactive emotion. Patience is closely linked to self-awareness and discernment. While waiting for the right relationship, a man has the chance to reflect on what he truly desires in a partner, what values are non-negotiable, and what qualities complement his own personality and goals. This clarity prevents future regrets and ensures that the connections he forms are healthy, sustainable, and fulfilling. Without patience, men often pursue relationships impulsively, only to discover later that the partnership does not align with their long-term vision. By embracing patience, a man invests in clarity, understanding, and the ability to make deliberate choices rather than settling for temporary comfort. Furthermore, patience enhances appreciation and gratitude when love finally arrives. Relationships that are rushed or entered out of need often lack the depth and richness that come from mutual readiness. A man who has waited, grown, and prepared himself becomes fully capable of cherishing and nurturing the relationship he enters. He understands the value of the connection, respects its boundaries, and contributes meaningfully rather than expecting fulfillment to be handed to him. Patience transforms love from a dependency into a shared celebration of growth, purpose, and mutual respect. Patience is not passive. It is active preparation. It is the cultivation of skills, character, discipline, and emotional intelligence while resisting the temptation to fill the void prematurely. A man who practices patience develops a mindset that is aligned with long-term fulfillment rather than short-term satisfaction. Every day spent in thoughtful preparation compounds into a foundation of stability, maturity, and readiness, ensuring that when the right relationship arrives, it enhances a life already rich with purpose, clarity, and self-mastery. Becoming your own priority is one of the most transformative practices a man can adopt, particularly during the season of singleness. Society often conditions men to focus on external validation, relationships, and the approval of others, leading them to place themselves last in the hierarchy of importance. Yet true growth, fulfillment, and long-term success are rooted in the ability to recognize one's own value, invest in personal development, and nurture the mind, body, and spirit intentionally. Being without a girlfriend is not a deficiency. It is an opportunity to elevate yourself, cultivate self-love, and set a standard for how you engage with life and future relationships. When a man prioritizes himself, he is able to align his actions with his values and goals rather than reacting impulsively to societal pressures or fleeting emotions. This involves consciously dedicating time and energy to pursuits that strengthen his character, sharpen his skills, and expand his knowledge. It may be education, career growth, creative exploration, or physical and mental well-being. By focusing on these priorities, a man ensures that he is building a life of substance, competence, and purpose. This focus creates momentum that continues to compound, generating confidence and self-respect, both of which are foundational for future personal and professional relationships. Prioritizing yourself also includes caring for your emotional and mental health. Too often, men overlook the importance of introspection, mindfulness, and reflection, mistakenly believing that these are secondary to action or productivity. Yet, emotional intelligence is a cornerstone of resilience, effective communication, and meaningful relationships. A man who makes his inner life a priority learns to understand his emotions, respond rather than react, and cultivate balance even in challenging circumstances. This self-awareness allows him to approach life with clarity, reducing unnecessary stress and ensuring that decisions are made from a place of strength rather than impulsivity or insecurity. Physical well-being is another essential aspect of prioritizing oneself. Health is not merely the absence of illness, it is the cultivation of energy, vitality, and discipline that enables a man to perform at his best in all areas of life. Regular exercise, mindful nutrition, adequate rest, and purposeful routines build resilience and confidence, reinforcing the message that one's body is a valuable instrument for achieving goals and fulfilling potential. By prioritizing physical health, a man not only enhances his own life, but also models self-respect, setting a standard for the quality of relationships he will form in the future. Another dimension of making oneself a priority involves setting boundaries and understanding one's worth. A man who knows his value does not compromise on principles for temporary approval or superficial connection. He develops the courage to say no to distractions, negative influences, or relationships that do not align with his long-term vision. This clarity prevents wasted time, emotional energy, and potential disappointment, while simultaneously cultivating respect from those around him. Boundaries are not walls. They are guidelines that protect and reinforce a life built on intention, focus, and purpose. Prioritizing oneself also fosters the development of passions and interests that bring joy and fulfillment independently of others. Hobbies, creative pursuits, learning, and adventure cultivate a sense of identity and richness that is internally generated rather than borrowed from relationships or external validation. When a man is the architect of his own happiness, he becomes magnetic in his authenticity, drawing relationships that enhance rather than define his life. This self-sufficiency does not imply isolation. It creates freedom to engage with others from a position of strength and abundance, rather than neediness or dependence. Ultimately, making yourself a priority is about embracing responsibility for your own growth, happiness, and fulfillment. It is the deliberate choice to invest in your potential, nurture your values, and cultivate resilience while refusing to let external circumstances dictate your sense of worth. A man who learns to prioritize himself creates a life that is rich, purposeful, and resilient, ensuring that every relationship he enters in the future complements a foundation of self-mastery, confidence, and intentional living. So, to every man listening, walk confidently. You are not without anything, you are within a beautiful phase of becoming. Build your life so powerfully that when love finally arrives, it finds a man who already loves his purpose, his path, and his own heart. Thank you. And remember, you don't need someone else to feel special. You only need the courage to become the best version of yourself.